Hi there, welcome back. My name is Gina. I did not think that I was going to be able to get on an update anytime soon, but I just got one of my kids wanted me to pick him up early today from school, and my husband was picking up my other child from a school event in another town. So I found myself with a little bit of alone time here at the house. So thought I would hop on and update you. It has been a month, and I don't know about you guys, but I can definitely use a moment to not think about what is happening in the world. I don't believe that we need to never think about or pay attention to what is going on in the world around us, but sometimes, especially when it is just unrelentingly negative and upsetting, I think that it is important to take a little bit of time to rest and recharge and not think about those things, to do something that brings us joy. So I have been really working on that in the last month. So let's jump right in. I have some projects to update you on that I had talked about last time, including one spring garment that I said I was going to work on, and I did, but then I also cast on for a couple of unplanned, unexpected spring garments, which I will share with you. And then I also have some just for fun knitting as well. So I will start with updating projects that I showed you last time. So the first of those, which I almost forgot to pull out, I've just this is more of a winter thing, and so I had put it aside and already forgotten about it. Out of sight, out of mind. And that is my classic lines cardi. I don't know why I'm showing this to you on here. You cannot really see it. If I was thinking straight, I should have hung it on my dress form so you could see it, but I'll put some pictures of me modeling this. It is way too hot now to wear this. So this is the Classic Lines Cardi by Alison Backus. It was a pattern that Knit Picks had updated and released for free when it was their 25th, whatever anniversary they had last year or the year before. That was a big one. They went back into their vaults and re-released a bunch of patterns that they made updates to, and they were at that time free. I'm not sure if they're still free or not, but yeah, this was one that they had released that pattern, and they also had this alpaca cloud fingering. No, this is lace weight, which is the called for fiber. They had that on super sale during their big sale in November, and so I just actually bought the recommended yarn and even the recommended color. So this was the color of the original, and I think it's really pretty. It's you do 2 strands of the navy, like the main color. You're holding 2 strands all the time of lace weight, and then on the rows where you're doing the contrast, you just add a 3rd strand in with you. So you're holding 2 to 3 strands all the time. It's really light. This is my only time of working with lace weight and my only garment made out of lace weight, and it is super light. It will scrunch up super small. I like these are folded button bands. Not sure how much, oh, there we go, how much you can see of that, but there we go. It feels nice and substantial. I am worried because it is such a light garment and it's not seamed. I'm worried about it stretching out. I feel like it might have already even stretched in length. It is alpaca. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to go back in and put maybe some of that ribbon, like is it the Petersham or something? I don't know. Some of the ribbon that you can use as stabilizer to maybe hold that in place. the original pattern like doesn't call for anything like that. So I don't know if it's just theoretically light enough it shouldn't stretch out, or if they just didn't wear it to the point where it was starting to stretch out. It did turn out a little bigger than what I would have liked. I need to go back and look and see what size I did, and well, I can tell you what size I did. I do have my project pulled up. I knit the size 5, which is a 44-inch bust. So that is like 4 inches of positive ease up here at the top, which might be the issue. Like here's my armpit. So there's a lot of extra. I mean, I did want it to be looser fitting, but yeah, it turned out quite long, as you'll see in the pictures that I will post of it. So I don't know. I think it'll be good for just like a cardigan to throw on. I'm thinking I'll probably take it to my office and keep it up there so that I can put it on when I get cold. I think it'll be perfect for that use. And also, like I said, you can scrunch it like down super small for a size 44 cardigan. So super glad to finally have that out of my project bags and cleared off the books. Actually, I realized after I took pictures of it, I haven't actually blocked it. I just finished it up and called it a day and completely forgot. So maybe I will block it and take some post-blocking pictures, see how much it changes. But anyway, in the meantime, I'll have thrown up some pictures for you to look at there. And again, that was Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud Lace. And since I have it pulled up, I can tell you the colors were Diana and Anna. Looks like the Diana must have been the navy blue. It was interesting to work with. Like I said, this was my first time using lace weight that wasn't alpaca. I mean, not alpaca. That was not mohair. And so that was a little bit of an experience. What I ended up doing was keeping all of my 3 active balls of yarn in little Ziploc sandwich bags and just like pulling them out of there, because they were like they would come unspooled and they were very tangly, and yeah, that was just what I ended up doing to manage my yarn a little bit easier. So very glad to have that one done and dusted and just not weighing me down. I don't know how people who have like a serious amount of works in progress and old UFOs like handle it. They really do mentally weigh on me if they're hanging out back there. So that one has been low-key bothering me in the background. It's just like, I guess, noise. Like I'm not thinking about it consciously, but in the background, it is back there kind of bothering me that I have it and it's not done. So really glad to have that one done. And next up we have, the Spark Cardi. So somebody had asked me in the comments just recently what I ended up doing on this, and here is what I did. As you can see, I went ahead and steeked it and added that nice big luscious shawl collar. So this one would be done. I did get all of this part finished during my spring break. I could have gotten it completely finished, except I knew that I was going to run out of yarn. So I had just been like, I was using, this is the belt that needs to be 70 something inches long, and I have this much right now. I don't know. I think I have 30 something inches at this point. So it needs to be about double in length, and that's how far I got before I ran out of yarn. So I was waiting to decide what I wanted. I mean, at the point that I knew I was going to run out of yarn, I had already made the steeking choice. So like there was no going back on that. But I was just trying to decide what I wanted to do about getting enough yarn to finish this. And I was going to see if somebody on the Knit Picks Lovers board on Ravelry might have a partial skein that they were willing to sell to me, but then I ended up just deciding to go ahead and purchase a full ball of this from Knit Picks. And whew, I've said before that I love high desert. It would, if I had a desert island yarn, this would be it. I would love to knit with nothing but high desert. However, they just changed that yarn line. Like, nothing about the line itself is really changing, but it's like the certifications, the tracking of all of the materials, and the sheep and everything about the processing of that, to show the minimal environmental impact and the sustainability involved in it. The certification on that changed, so that they are like fully, I don't know what it's called, like RWS or something like that, certified, and the cost has gone up substantially. So in the past, one of these worsted skeins were, I want to say like $16, $18 maybe a piece. And now they're 26 or 27, 28, something like that. I just bought one, so I should know, but I don't. I have already forgotten. So that was quite expensive. And they do still have some of the old version of high desert that just hasn't been, like, it wasn't produced under the new standards. And so they do still have some of that available. And actually, like, in the order where I placed the order for a ball of the bear, I went ahead and ordered several skeins of the old sport in Campion, the colorway Campion, because I love it, and it is now going to be very expensive, so I will probably not be knitting very much with it in the future, unfortunately, due to the cost. So this one should be finished soon after I get the new ball, although it comes in a hank form, so that means that I'll have to like drag out the Swift and the winder and all of that, but maybe I'll be motivated since it's so close to being done. Although I do have a lot of ends to weave in the cardigan, and that always takes me working up some effort, the will to do that. Just like balling up my hanks takes, I have to get up the motivation to do that. And I have several other things going on right now, so don't know. It may not be until May, late in May, that I actually get around to finishing that belt. Okay, next up, just a quick little update on the spiral. What was this one called? KP Yoke Rassen was the name of this one. Here, this is the front. I have made some good progress on it. I have finished all of the increases. This has like an A-line shape, and so I finished all those increases. And this has been my knitting when I just need something, stockinette and easy. But now I've got some other stuff that I've been working on that I'm able to fulfill that need with. So this one is on the back burner, but I did make some good progress on it since last I showed, even though it's not very exciting progress since it's just stockinette. Okay, what else? Okay, so I talked last time about my ideas for spring knitting, and one of those was the lavender lavender tank. Can't remember exactly what it's called, by Olga Beckmann, and I was ordering the yarn for that, and it came. And I actually made quite a bit of progress before I sat it down and did not work on it any further. So here it is. Actually, I'm not sure I'm showing you. I can't tell. I think this is the back. Yeah, I think this is how it goes. So you cast on the back and knit that down to the arm, till you get to the sleeve separation, and then I think you pick up stitches from the back and knit like one front, pick up and knit one front, and then join your fronts and then knit down. And I have made it to join in the round, and which is always nice, a nice little marker right when you get to that point. Let's see if you can see that. It's a fun little like kind of lace pattern there on the sides. This one is a lot of fun. It's a very enjoyable one. Now, as I'm picking this up, I'm remembering that my husband and I watched, we binged The Residence on Netflix. I highly recommend that if you like detective shows and are just in the mood for something lighter and fun. It is funny. And also a good mystery whodunit. So highly recommend that. And that's what I was watching while I was working on this. Made some, like I said, made some good progress. I am using Drops Cotton Merino. I said that I was ordering this. I don't think that I had actually like gotten it at that point that I showed it to you. I'm not getting that to show up. There we go. Drops Cotton Merino in, which is 50% wool and 50% cotton. And I think it's sport weight. It's either sport or DK. And yeah, just working away on that. It's interesting. I have another in progress work that I'll show you in a minute that is made with Knit Picks wool and cotton, which is their 50% merino, 50% cotton blend. And I think that, the drops, is a dupe of that base. And I have to say, I definitely prefer the Knit Picks version. It is much easier, much less splitty. So this one, it's hard to say. I was going to say it did hurt my hands, and I was like, well, I don't know if it hurt my hands, because actually I was working with another cotton-based fabric or fiber at the same time that I was working with this one. So something that I was working on a couple of weeks ago was bothering my wrists and shoulders, because I can never do anything slowly or at a reasonable rate. And so I was just knitting way too much. But yeah, like something, whether it was this one or it was another one, were bothering me. And this one is just like, it's super splitty. Like it just falls apart as you're working with it. You're probably not going to be able to tell on this, but yeah, it's just like the plies just separate. Can you see that? It is, I can see it doing it right there. Like the plies just separate so easily, and it's really easy to, just split it and then realize that you split it and have to like drop down and try to get the whole thing back on there. Anyway, it's been kind of a pain to work with. So I'm not loving the yarn. I do definitely appreciate Knit Picks wool and cotton a lot more now that I've had the drops to compare it to. But anyway, this is going along. I'm not like super thrilled with my color choice on this. I ordered the drops completely online. I had never, I bought it from Rito.com. I don't know. It's just somewhere in Europe. And I didn't know, how their colors as they appear online would compare to the actual colors. And this was my first time getting any drops. So yeah, I didn't know exactly what to expect. I think that I might have thought they were going to be a little bit different than what I got. Like the colors were not exactly what I had envisioned. All that to say, I don't hate it. I don't love it as much as I like the original sample. And I'm kind of frustrated because I didn't get woolen cotton from Knit Picks to make this with, because I was considering it, but I didn't get that because I couldn't find a good natural. They had like a darker brown, but they didn't have anything that looked natural. And then later, after I'd of course already ordered all of this, and had already, gotten to this point, I realized that Knit Picks actually does have a natural, and it's the bear, the woolen cotton bear. But the bear is not listed on the same, like you don't see it on the webpage, where all of the other wool and cotton is. You have to go to the bear webpage, and that's where you will find it. Anyway, super frustrating. Knit Picks, if you're listening, please put your bear on the same, on the page with the rest of the line, so that, that pops up there as an option. in people's minds when they're looking for color. So anyway, so this one's kind of on hold for the moment because I'll show you, I have a couple of time-sensitive test knits that I am working on. So it'll probably be in May before I get back to this one. And then this was the reason also that my hands were hurting. This is, I'm calling him Disassociation Stanley the Raccoon. It is Stanley the Raccoon from Louise Crowther's book called Knitted Animal Friends. I saw these several years ago. I think somebody had made that, there's a hedgehog in there. And I just thought it was the cutest thing ever. See if is his head showing up. I think his little ears are just so cute, so cute. And yes, he has little shorts and his tail, and there's lots of buttons. So this guy, I see Knitted Animal and I think, oh, this will be a quick project. He was not a quick project. I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked on him. I'll insert a picture of what he looked like before he was stuffed, after I had all of his body parts completed. You knit all of him in the, like she has the instructions for him to be knit completely in the flat. I did decide couldn't see any reason that his like legs and arms needed to be knit in the flat. So once I had finished this section, like his feet, where you're doing intarsia, I went ahead and put him, made his legs and arms in the round. But yeah, the rest of him, yeah, he was knitted. Here's his little belly. He has a cute little flash there. He was knitted in the flat so that you can do intarsia, which is, I've done a tiny bit of intarsia here and there. Definitely do not consider myself an expert or even proficient at it. But her instructions are very clear. I will say, so I didn't purchase the book. I checked it out from the library. So I had it on Hoopla, and the thing that is a little bit intimidating about the patterns in this book, intimidating to me, it wouldn't be a problem for some people, but they are all the instructions are written out line by line, which I just find overwhelming. It's a lot of text. It's a lot of rows. I would just much rather see something represented graphically in a chart. That is always my preferred method. And so I love patterns where if they do written directions, they do a chart as well, but she doesn't. And maybe this would be hard to chart. I don't know. I mean, I didn't play around with it or anything. But what made it a little bit challenging was, since it was in a library book and it was an electronic copy, I couldn't, sit and mark my rows off, as I went. And so there were a few times where I got off. I finally did realize that in Hoopla, you can mark up the text, you can highlight it. And so that's finally what I started doing. But I didn't realize that until I had already finished his body and was on to like other body parts. So anyway, got him done. He's made out of the called for yarn, which is, I'm going to say this wrong, the Dutch Scheepjes yarn. Stonewashed DK, which I mean, this did not seem like, you can't tell, and I didn't bring the yarn in here, but this did not seem like DK weight to me, at least in terms of the thickness. It is partially or substantially cotton. I don't remember the exact fiber content of it, but it's a lot cotton. And so this is what I was saying. I was working on him and the lavender tank at the same time. And so I don't know if it was the stonewash that was bothering my wrist and shoulders, or if it was the other, but something in there was just a little bit too cotton for me. Because cotton, if you haven't worked with it before, is much less forgiving and stretchy than wool is. And so it can be a little bit more painful. What else do I want to say about him? I don't know. His clothing is made out of Mighty Stitch, Knit Picks Mighty Stitch, which was just leftover yarn that I had from when my kids were little. And Mighty Stitch is an acrylic and wool blend. It's super, super soft, so kids don't mind it. And I thought it would be, yeah, those scraps were great for making his clothes. He has this cute little cabled top, which I made at least one pretty drastic mistake on, and I didn't see it till I was pretty far past, and I just duplicate stitched over it because I did not care. And his shirt also, his clothing, just like the rest of his body, was written out line by line. Oh my goodness. And there was a lot of knitting in the flat too on this, because you don't join in the round until after you get below those buttons. So yeah, but he's cute. He's done now. I thought that, like, after I got his body together, I was like, well, at least his clothes will be fast. They were not fast. It was still quite a bit of knitting. I don't know. I was just surprised at how much knitting it took. So his body's made out of the DK, and his sweater and his outfit is made out of worsted. And my plan is, so there are a ton of adorable animal bodies, and in that book, my plan is, initially I was hoping to make a couple of the other creatures, but after doing him, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get around to that or not, because it was fairly painful. However, all of the clothes are interchangeable between the different dolls, and so I will go back and make some more clothes. So I will be checking that book out back again, and making him lots of other outfits. He's supposed to have some sneakers, but I was done. I was done by the time I got his shorts and was gonna call him good. So that is Disassociation Stanley, because that is how I was using him. I also have showed last time the like little Easter eggs that I was working on, and I don't remember how many of those I had made at the time that I made the video, but I made all of the various patterns that were included in that Easter pattern, and then some. These are super fun to make, very quick, and I think they would be like super cute hanging on a branch, since I have cats who love to destroy anything that's on the mantle. I don't think that would work in my home, but it would be very cute in somebody else's home. Okie doke, let's see. Okay, so as I said, I had all of these grand plans for what I was gonna make as far as spring clothes, and then there was a test call for a shirt or sweater top that I had been watching very closely its progress, and as soon as the test call went out, I was on it, and that is the Anna Cortez top by Mishi Fraz Knits. Michelle is her name, the designer. And it's this really nice, what do you call it? Broken rib texture, 2x2, all the way around, but also with some, so you do some twisted rib up here in the collar, and then that is carried down the raglan, which I love. I know some people don't like raglans. I do like raglans, and I think that they look nice on my body type, so I'm thrilled to have a cute raglan. The twisted rib also is carried down the side, and yeah, I'm just rocking away on this. I actually just finished I put the sleeves on in the last couple of days, and they're finished off with a little twisted twisted rib, and I don't know, you can't tell, I'm sure, with this dark color, but I have Italian bind off on the edges, and yeah, so I have, I think about 4 or 5 more inches to go on this, and then it will be time for the hem. Like, so far, the pattern seems great to me. I appreciate it starts out with short row shaping, so even though this is like textured and there's a you know, a pattern there, Michelle walks you through putting in short rows so that your back fits you properly, comes up higher than the neck. Also, Michelle was okay with my putting in short rows in the front to create some horizontal bust darts, because I have a 6-inch difference between my upper bust and my full bust, and as I was doing the measuring to put in my horizontal darts, there's a 10-inch difference between like straight down my back versus you know, where my front has to, like the space that it has to cover. So you know, there is a substantial difference there. And so yeah, the horizontal bust arch just puts an extra fabric at the bust in a, you know, triangle shape, so that hopefully the goal is that my hem will hang, it'll hang straight in the front and the back. So, because normally my hem does not hang correctly. My, like, everything on me is a high-low hem, with the back being a lot longer than the front. So I am hopeful that I got that, the bust darts right. I followed the instructions in Isolde Teague's, Little Red in the Big City. She sort of walks you completely through and has spaces for you to write in your measurements and walks you through, you know, how to set all that up. So I just followed her instructions there, and I put all of that in my Ravelry project so that if anybody else, you know, needs to see those calculations, you can. As I was doing them, I was thinking, oh, I need to set up a little like Google Sheets to do the math for you, so you can just, like, you know, so I can just plug in my measurements and then it will do the rest of the calculations for me. So I might do that. We'll see. Not anytime soon, but maybe this summer if I'm feeling motivated. So this test knit is due sometime in May. I have no concerns about it. I will get this one done quickly. It's my mindless kind of knit, because once you get past like the raglan increases, like, you do have to pay some attention because you increase in pattern in this, so you do have to pay some attention when you first start, but from there on out it's pretty easy. I say, oh, you don't have to, it's mindless, you don't have to pay that much attention, but actually I just had to unpick an entire round today because I got off. I didn't read my knitting before I picked it up and started. So anyway, but it's going very well. I'm excited. I am using Knit Picks wool and cotton for this one. Michelle did she did like a winter version that's long sleeved. I was wanting another short sleeved top that I could get some more wear out of. I think this will be great in the fall. We're in the spring. I'm doing the wool and cotton from Knit Picks, and it is a DK, and it feels much more like an actual DK to me than the Drops Cotton Merino does. It's also so much nicer to work with. It is not, I'm not finding it to be splitty at all. And I would say that there's enough, the wool comes through enough that it has not been bothering my hands. So yes, really, really enjoying this. Looking forward to the final product. And I think I'm knitting, if anyone cares, I think I'm doing, I can tell you for sure. Let me look at my projects. I'm doing the size 4, which is a 44-inch bust. So that's 4 inches of positive ease, like in terms of shoulders and stuff, but it would have like negative ease through the full bust. Because yeah, if I fit to my full best, everything will just be way too big elsewhere. So, okay. So my next one so I had been I watch Michelle's podcast, which is called Not the Worsted Knitting. I really like her podcast. So I've been watching that as she's been developing and kind of teasing the Anacortes pullover. So I had been eagerly awaiting for the test call for that one and kind of, definitely planning to apply. Didn't know if I was going to get it or not, but definitely planning to apply. However, this next one was not on my radar at all. And this one is called the Summer Snow Tee. Hopefully you're able to see that. Sorry, I'm looking like through the holes in my lace, hoping that it shows up. Maybe that will show up. So this is the back, actually. Yeah, the Summer Snow Tee is by Joanna Eng. I had seen her teasing some photos of this earlier, but and liked it at the time, but then just happened to see, because I'm not always on Instagram, but just the day that, I got on, I happened to see her posting this and the test call, and I was like, oh, I know I'm already doing one test for a summery top, but I need to see if I can test that one. And so I filled out the application. I've never tested for Joanna or for Michelle before, but anyway, I was thrilled to get both of those, and have just been going along on this one. This is I'm not a lace knitter. By any means. It is not my preference when I am knitting. I like to look at it, but I very much prefer color work. That's my jam. But I just thought this was so pretty in her sample and wanted to try it. So all that to say, like, I do not consider myself to be a particularly proficient lace knitter. But I think it's going well. There were a few things, like my swatch, I completely misread the chart when I did my swatch and had to redo that. So like there's been some learning that has occurred along the way. There are not a ton of rest rows in this. So even on the back side, you're doing lace. It involves some slip pearls, which was an experience. I know slip knit versus K2 together, but I had to memorize the slip two together versus the slip pearl thing. And there have been a few times where I have a really hard time with left and right. And directions and all of that. And so at first, it's like when I first start a chart, I'm just really having to go by, okay, this is what it says to do. And so I finally started, I color coordinate and like mark all my SSKs and SSPs with, one color, and then my K2 togethers and the other like with another color, so that I can just think, okay, when I see that color, this is what I need to be doing. Now I'm to the point where I can read what I'm doing, at least when I'm on the front. I don't have to think about it on the front, but on the back, it's still like I have to slow down and think about it. And also, it's just tricky for me reading the charts because usually I'm working in the round, so I'm used to reading always from the right side. But when you're going back and forth, right, you have to read from left to right on the wrong side, and then you add to that for like you start with a different column of the chart depending on what size you're doing. And so my start column doesn't start with the side, so like that just always takes me a minute every time I start a row to go, okay, like where am I supposed to be, and am I reading from this way or that? Anyway, so it is definitely not a project that I would suggest as a first knit. However, it is very well laid out so far. You know, everything, if you're careful and you read and you pay attention, it is all planned really nice. And I think like, oh, I love the, let me see if I can get that to show up. The increases along the shoulder line. I think it's super pretty. How those are just coming right out of the shoulder. Yeah, I love this. And I'm hoping I should be able to get my other front here, my right front, done tonight, I would think, and be able to join my fronts and get started, which will mean that before too long, I can join in the round. Now, this is a drop shoulder after I have complained and talked about how much I don't like drop shoulders on me. But again, like sometimes you just see a design and it's so good that you want to knit it and wear it, even if you know it's not going to look the best on you. For this, I am using Knit Picks Galileo. Sorry, I do not have the ball band sitting here, but Galileo is, I believe, I'm going to be lying, whatever I say. I think it's cotton and silk. Let's see. I do have a ball band. It is, okay, yeah. I told you I was going to be lying. So it's actually 50% merino wool and 50% viscose from bamboo. So that's what it is. Like I said, totally lying. No silk and no cotton. This yarn is, I've worked with Galileo before. I like it. It's pretty easy to work with. It is a little bit fuzzy. Like sometimes I'll accidentally split the yarn and it's like really fuzzy. So it's like hard, it's hard to get it back. Like if you split it apart, it's fuzzy. I mean, it's not normally fuzzy. I mean, it has a little bit of halo, I guess, but, I actually have, a top that I made out of this, other balls of this exact colorway a couple of years ago, and I never wear it. I don't know, because I don't love this color on me or just this color in general. I mean, I like it, it's fine. I just don't think it does anything for me in particular. And I don't know that that's what that top just, I don't know. I just don't love it. So what I'm doing is using up all of my fresh balls of this, and then I'm going to unravel, my old top that has been worn like literally once, twice possibly, outside of taking pictures with it. Yeah, I think that will be a better use of this yarn. So, this test is due, like this was a shorter test line, like number of weeks than, the Ana Cortez pullover. This one is due, I think maybe like May 12th or 13th or something like that. So I am trying to really consistently work on this one, when I have the brain power, because this definitely, you know, takes a lot more concentration. So I need to, you know, have to have unwound from work for a while, but also like I can't be later, for me, later for me would be like 8:30 to 9 o'clock. I'm probably done working on this, because otherwise I will start making stupid mistakes. So this is my prime awake time knitting, and then my Ana Cortez pullover is sort of when I am doing my unwind routine, when I don't need a whole lot of thinking. I just need to pay a little bit of attention. Yeah, so those are the two that are getting most of my time at the moment. And speaking of Joanna Eng, this is when I discovered her, was when I saw this, which I forgot to look up the name of this one before I started filming. I think it's the Ripple something, pullover, Ripple Tide, I don't know. I just think it is so So pretty. Such a pretty design. Here's the back. Those cables like go down the backs. And again, yet again, a drop shoulder, which again, I don't love on me, but like sometimes, you know, when it's just so pretty, you have to do it. So this was the first of Joanna Ng's patterns that I really saw. She has tons of gorgeous ones. She came out with a really interesting cabled sweater that was knit side to side. She just does some really interesting constructions, and I think it's so creative and different from what a lot of people are producing. Her patterns, like, they're romantic and I think kind of like ethereal. Like I don't know, they're very architectural while also still being very dainty and feminine. So this was what made me fall in love with her and start following her. And this one also was very well written. The only thing I wasn't crazy about was the arms on this one. Like, they're just so big, which feels odd to me. And I never did go back and like look and see if maybe I had like messed something up on the pattern, but anyway, it does not stop me from enjoying and wearing this one. And this one was knit in Knit Picks Aloft, in one of their new Aloft colors. That's the mohair and twill fingering. So yes, love that one as well. All right, what else? I think that is all my knitting. I did want to share, so normally if you've ever watched more than one of these, you will know that I do not do acquisition section, and that is because for me, I struggle with not over consuming and also like, I just want to appreciate what I have, and not be comparing to like what I don't have. And so for me, I do not particularly enjoy people's acquisition sections, and I often will just stop a podcast before I get to that point because, you know, it is not helping me. It's not doing me any favors. So I don't normally do those. Because that's not what I like. So I don't want to do them. However, I think I will make an exception today because my mom texted me. She was up here last week for one of my oldest son just turned 16, so he's about to be driving. Very scary stuff. Anyway, so she was up here for that, and she texted me while I was at work in a meeting and said, I am at the thrift store and I found some yarn, call me back and let me know if you want it. And I texted her, I was like, I can't talk to you, send me a picture. So while I was sitting in a boring meeting, she was sending me yarn pictures, and I was expecting it to be like Red Heart Super Saver or something. And I'm like, no, don't need that. Red Heart from the 70s, somebody's Afghan leftovers, because that is 99% of what I ever see in the thrift store around here. There are some parts of the country that I think, you see good stuff in terms of fiber show up in the thrift store, but that is not the norm here. So that's what I was expecting. And then she starts sending me pictures, and I'm like, oh, this is like in a hank. This looks like, I can see, indie dyed labels and stuff on there. And it looked like unopened kits. And so I was like, yes, get that. And she was like, well, would you want something that's like 70% silk? And I said, send me a picture. And so she sent me a picture, of this like baggie full of balls of some sort of summer fiber. And so all that to say, she ended up going ahead and she's like, we'll just call it an early birthday present for me. So she just bought all of this yarn that she found at the thrift store, and so I thought I would just share some of that with you since I know folks on here would be able to appreciate it. And she and I had a lot of fun looking through it and seeing what was there. It was a lot of unopened a lot of unopened, like it looked like somebody had a monthly subscription. I just saw on somebody else's podcast that there was a yarn store, or maybe still is, here in my state called Loops, and that I guess they sold like kits and maybe like monthly clubs. Anyway, and this person was subscribed to that. So this person had lots of stash that had never even come out of the bag. Like it was still like the bags that it came in were still complete with like the pattern that came in the kit, and then also the little extras like stitch markers, which I meant to bring in with me to show you the extras because there were some fun things in there too, but I forgot those. Yeah, so here's an example. This is Daisy from Knit One Crochet 2, 38% linen, 32% silk, 30% hemp. I have never knit with this particular yarn or any yarn that has hemp in it, so I'm excited to try that out. Only 214 yards, so can't do a lot with it, but you know, it's enough to try it out. And it's pretty. It's in the purple. Let's see, less traveled yarn. Oh, I think I figured something that she was subscribed to Knit Stars as well at some point. So this is from that club. And this is, these are DK minis in 75% merino. Very pretty. And then I have always, like, I've been very interested in Dando, trying this out. I don't know if it was this particular one. I'm interested in trying out their like paper ribbon yarn because it just sounds so interesting and different. But there were 2 of these. Again, not enough to do much with, but I'll try to figure out something I can do with them. These are 76% silk and 24% cotton. And then these are this is not really my style. I'm not super thrilled about this one. There's 2 of these. I think these are worsted. It's Starlit Silk, roving silk fibers, hand dyed, and then loosely plied tiny strands of lurex for a hint of shimmer. I don't know, it just kind of looks like, the silk looks like wool that's been scuffed up. And I'm just not a gold person, so these are not super thrilling to me. So I might see if I can find a home for them. And let's see, this is another one from the Loops Club. These are mulberry silk minis. Ooh, so pretty. Very shiny. I think they need to be some kind of a shawl or something. I don't know what else to do with those, but they're very, very cute. Let's see. Sorry about the noise. This really pretty little gradient fingering weight merino set. Love that. Could definitely see myself making something by Stephanie Lotven, Telly Bean Knits. Also, speaking of Stephanie, since I'm recording this, like the day that I'm recording this, I think she just dropped her Butterfly Field shawl, which I showed the last time I was on here that I had tested for her. So that is out now and it is on sale if you see this. Near to, I think today is April 17th. Yeah, let's see. We have 3 skeins of Malabrigo Silky Merino in the colorway Lazo. So pretty, pretty, pretty. Always love Malabrigo's colors. And Art Yarns, Big Merino Cloud. This one has 20% cashmere and 80% merino. And I think this one, I think we saw that because my mom was like, what in the world would you do with that? It has beads in the yarn, this little extra skein, and I think it was for mitts, and the cuffs had these beads. Like, I can tell you I will not be using this beaded yarn for that, or possibly for anything. So I don't like how they look in there. Like, I don't know if I'm not a big one for beads, period, in yarny things. But I especially don't care for this combination of gold beads in this kind of taupey, like, they just look kind of like, they look like the stickers that my cats get, you know, the burrs from grass, where they come in and it's all stuck. Like, that's what it looks like to me. One of my kids can't handle tweed. Like, he just wants to pick off all the tweeds. I like tweeds, but like this is a bridge too far for me. But this yarn is nice. And since this is such a light color, like, I think it is very possible to over dye it if I were to decide I wanted to do that. Let's see. I have a bunch of bags that don't know where they are. I might have to get up and go see if I can find some. So those were all like clearly from unopened club bags. And then there were a bunch of like somebody's just like partial stash. So let's see, here's some Italian cotton Lana Mondial. I don't know how to speak Italian. I am the world's worst pronunciator even of English. But yeah, some cotton baby yarn. This, if anybody like recognizes this and can tell me what it is, I would love for that. This one's, you know, balled up, so you can't really see what's inside of it. Here you can see the colors on this one a little bit. It's like a green, purple, beige kind of mixture. Like, I'm wondering if these are Zauber balls, maybe. Like, that's what it looks. I've never had a Zauber ball, but like, you know, having seen pictures of them, that's what it reminds me of. It's very much that, oh my goodness, what's it called? You know, the very expensive, very trendy, dyed in the wool spin cycle. It's, you know, reminiscent of that. This is not spin cycle though. I've had spin cycle and this does not feel like spin cycle to me. So would be very interested if somebody has used Zauber balls and recognizes if that's what that is. I need to get on Ravelry and just look, but honestly, these bags have been in the freezer because I'm doing, you know, decontamination procedures. But here, you know, just lots of little, I know this is dumb, but I love using other people's scraps, looking through those, you know, using them for things like this, you know, her single here in this nice color. Like, I can definitely use this for gnome making. That's what I do with all of these little leftovers. They kind of go in a bag and I use them for that sort of project. I definitely have some bags that I did not bring in here, so I'm going to get those. All right, I am back with more yarn in tow. Yeah, so here's a hank of Prism yarn. In colorway Symphony 3.2. This is merino, cashmere, and nylon. Not a color I love, but I bet you I could over dye this. So definitely considering that. It's super soft since it's cashmere. And then, oh, Lady Dye yarn. So I only know of Lady Dye from the drama on Ravelry after she was having trouble keeping up with orders. So I wonder if this is some of the, what was that? The show that she made tons and tons of yarns, but no, it doesn't look like it is from that set. But anyway, that's fun. I did not even see that that's what this yarn was when I was looking through this originally. Then we have Plumish. Although the thing, this goes with the, I think these two must have come together. These are both Prism yarns. And again, like one, my mom was like, what in the world would you do with this yarn? And I'm like, oh, it's probably for a trim. Like when I see this, it looks like a dead animal. Like that's what I think it is. Like that some sort of bird has gotten in there and died in a bag, which is unfortunate. But that's what I think. Yeah. Let's see. What else? This one's more scrappy. I wanted to see though if anybody had any idea what this was. This is a really light and scrunchy yarn. It's not wool, or if it's wool, it's some sort of blend. It's super stretchy. Like, and it just looks weird. I don't know, is it overplied? Is it just barber pulled? Oh, it looks like there's some, now that I'm untwisting it, it looks like there's some kind of like elastic cord maybe that these outer colors are twisted around that. I don't know. I have no idea. I need to burn test it. Like I said, we went through everything. I just bagged it up and then threw it all in the freezer, and that's where it's been. So yeah, so I have not really tried to identify anything that didn't have labels, and I'm just interested. Like, I don't know what I would do with this, but I'm just interested, to know what it is. It feels very unusual. There were some labels in some of this particular bag, that were Queensland Collection, Rainbow Beach, Australian Superwash. That's not what this is. You know, I can just tell by feeling that, but yeah, this is some kind of silk, I think. Tacky yarns. Yeah, I think that's what this one is. This is some tacky yarn, so that needs to be untangled. This one I think has got to be some sort of cotton situation. This looks, like just looking at this, it looks a lot like the Drops Cotton Merino. Like it's definitely got some cotton in it. Maybe since it's, I don't know, it's kind of shiny. So does it have bamboo? I don't know. This is a fun one. This is wool, fingering. I don't know, like, is there a good way to tell if fingering, like I can tell if it's a single, because those look pretty distinctive. This is obviously not a single, but is there a good way to tell whether something has nylon in it? Because if it has nylon, I could use it as a, you know, sock yarn. It looks like it would be really good for that. But I wouldn't want to use it if it doesn't have nylon. This is a Madeline Tosh Unicorn Tail, which I have never had one of those before. So that's fun. This is Sincere Sheep, Napa Valley. This is merino and silk. That's fun. And some more, something. This one's pretty shiny to be wool. I think that's some kind of maybe acrylic. But this person doesn't seem to have had a lot of acrylic. Like this is, you know, nothing that obviously jumps out to me as acrylic anyway. Here's another one of those, like, I think it's probably a sock yarn, but I'm not sure. Have to find out. And this one, these are not my colors, but I think they're pretty colors. Very fall. And here's another one of those where I'm not sure what this is. It looks too shiny to be wool. Maybe bamboo and cotton. Oh, and this one, I have never had any hedgehog fibers before, but now I get to try a little bit. So this was from, I think this was like a club that they did, maybe for Knit Stars or something. Because I looked it up on Ravelry, and there are like several colors in here that went with this, like potluck. So there's this, and this one. And I think she used, I keep saying she, I just assume that this person was a she. I think she used some of this. Yeah, because there's like 2 balls of the purpley gray, and they're quite a bit smaller, and so are these 2. Anyway, yeah, so get to try some of that. That's really fun. And let's see, do we have anything interesting in this one? Top ripped on that one, so I'll just have to open it like an animal. This is another one of those, I think, some sort of bamboo type stuff. This one, I think, is some kind of cotton. I don't know. Scrap of something warmer weight. We have Firefly, Viscose, and Linen. That's a really pretty color. I wish there was like a bunch of that, but there's not, sadly. Just one. This one's pretty. So this is another one that I think might be the Zauberball or something. Yeah, honestly, it just seems like, like I said, I don't think it's, oh my goodness, I forgot the name of it again. Spin Cycle, because it's way too consistent, in my experience. Let's see. Then we have this one. This is funny. A Chick That Knits is actually local to me. I've never been up to her store. I did accidentally like just drive past it because one of my friends, as it turns out, lives near there. So I was like, oh, I'll have to remember to go sometime. But yeah, I have not been there, have not used her yarn before, but now I have a ball of that. And the rest of those are just little scraps. Let's see. What else? Oh, this one I was excited about. So this was the silk that my mom was asking if I was interested in. This is Maggie Knits. Maggie probably makes more sense than Magi. Irish MK collection, luxury hand knitting yarn, Maggie's Linen. 52% cotton and 48% linen. And that looks like lace weight. Is it lace weight? Is it fingering? It's 11 rows to 2 inches, 126 yards for 50 grams. I'm not one of those people who can figure those things out in my head. Like I would have to, I just like Ravelry to tell me what weight something is, but this looks really small unless those are 2, like, sorry, as I'm looking at it, like I think maybe those are just 2 plies that have come unplied. So maybe it's not as light as I thought it was. But there's a good number of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 balls of 50 grams. So I should be able to get a summer top out of that, I think. So excited about that one. And then, yeah, just some like more of that weird ball that I was showing you earlier that was like the weird, like wrapped around, like I think it's wrapped around some kind of an elastic core. Another ball of that. And then she had a lot of these samples, which I saw a bag from a, like, what do you call it? Like a convention, yarn festival, whatever, a bag from that. So like, I wondered, like, are these things that they would give out at like a festival where you could sample different things, or was she looking at like having a yarn store and carrying lines? I don't know. It's like there's a bunch of Shibui little samples, but it was just kind of fun to see those and feel them. I know Shibui is no more, except in the form of Jimmy Bean's wool. But yeah, just kind of interesting to see those. And there was some earth yarns in there as well. So yeah, just fun. And somewhere in here, there's some like pretty hand-dyed mohair. I mean, not a lot of it, but I could probably get a hat or something out of it. But yeah, my mom and I had a lot of fun digging through treasures. We both like coming across stuff like that. So I tell you, I was more excited about going through all of those thrifted yarns than I am like just going to a regular yarn store. It's just so much more fun when it's like a hidden treasure that you weren't expecting. So, and I love getting a good deal. So very exciting, and I will be having lots of fun in the future, like trying to figure out all that was. So I think she said that she spent about $90 on her total purchase, which also included some other things that she kept for herself. So I felt like it was a pretty good deal. I mean, those untouched kits and stuff, they were selling for $5 a piece. Yeah, so, which is obviously like way less than they were actually worth, but fun to play with. Okay, so I have gone on for far too long. Thank you if you are still here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you can identify any of those yarns for me, I would love to know it. If you have ideas about how I can like through burn testing or anything, figure out if there is nylon content in a wool yarn, that would be super helpful. Yeah, let me know what you're working on, where you're from. I definitely love to hear from people. It's always super fun to get a comment and just know that somebody actually watched. So thank you if you did. I hope you have fun knitting, and I will see you next time.